This video is about a plugin that makes your videos look like movies, in a way that no other camera, no fancy lens and no other equipment could do it. But see for yourself. Which version of these clips do you like more? Version 1 or 2? Here in comparison. Again version 1, version 2, and the comparison. Version 1, version 2, here the direct comparison. And a last version 1 and version 2 with the comparison. Well, for me the clear winner is always the second version. It just looks more filmic. And modern films are mostly shot with digital cameras, yet most of these films try to mimic a film look. Examples are Joker, which was shot on an Arri Alexa, or The Creator, which was shot on a Sony FX3. All these use complex film emulation on digital footage to make it look filmic or cinematic. But that's not only possible in high-budget movies anymore. Even I can create a film look very easily with the plugin Dehancer. The interesting thing is, this plugin is used by pro colorists as well as amateur ones like me. And it boosted my production value so much that I even regraded already finished projects with it because it gave me a look I just couldn't create before. I am working with DaVinci Resolve, but Dehancer is available for Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro as well. And first I was wondering if I would really use it, because DaVinci Resolve already has some film LUTs and effects like grain and halation, all the stuff that make your videos look like film. And Dehancer is not cheap. It starts at $149 for a 3-month license, and a lifetime license is $449 US. But if you use the discount code FILMLOOK10, you can save 10% of the costs. And that's quite a bit. I put a link to the website in the video description below. So when we compare Dehancer with the built-in effects of DaVinci Resolve, there's one important thing. I'm not a pro colorist, and therefore I do not know all the tricks and steps you need to know when you want to create a convincing film look just with the Resolve tools. Because simply applying a Resolve film LUT does not do the trick for me. This is a shot graded in 3 minutes with the DaVinci film LUT. And this is the same shot graded in 30 seconds with Dehancer. And honestly, I'm blown away how good the results are with Dehancer compared to what I am able to produce with the DaVinci effects. All the settings of the plugin work well together. It really helps you to stay in the range of a convincing film look. With the Resolve LUTs, I often felt that I needed to correct the skin, the sky, the blacks and so on, so that the end result just didn't look right anymore. And I started from scratch very often. But let's have a look how to use it in Resolve. There's a very good manual that comes with the plugin where you can read everything in detail, but here are some basics. If you're not familiar with the different color spaces available in Resolve, the easiest way to start is that you tell Dehancer which camera you used for filming, and it does everything for you. Which means if you filmed in log with a specific camera, it converts the signal properly for you to Rec 709. You don't have to use LUTs or color space transforms. If you directly filmed in Rec 709 and not in log, of course you can set the input parameter directly to Rec 709. You don't need any conversions here. Well, of course this looks very flat now because this is a log image. But I use a workflow where I want to do this all manually, to have more control in my color grading. I add a color space transform where I convert my camera signal to the color space DaVinci Wide Gamut and Gamma DaVinci Intermediate. Then I do all of my signal manipulation in this very wide color space. When I'm finished with my manipulation, I convert the signal back to Rec 709 for delivery so that it's shown correctly on normal devices. The advantage of doing this is you have finer control, the controls of the color wheels react smoother, and the signal doesn't clip so easily as in Rec 709. As you can see here, this is a Rec 709 signal, and when I raise the highlights, they are just moved out of the scopes on the top. The information of the signal is cut off, which means the highlights are clipping. In a DaVinci Wide Gamut workspace, the highlights get compressed at the top of the waveform, and they are not clipping so easily. So the whole image looks more natural in the highlights, and you have more space to grade your footage in. So let's build a look together. We have to add the plugin after our Rec 709 conversion. When we activate the plugin, it looks strange. But don't go insane, it's just because there are some effects active by default that have some pretty heavy settings. Now how can I switch them off? Well, as you can see, the plugin is organized in sections for everything that's needed to make your footage look like film. It works like a photo lab with all its different steps of film development. I deactivate the grain first because that's the main reason why it looks strange with the default settings. For the sake of this video, I deactivate the rest as well to really see what every effect does when we activate it one by one in a minute. I start with choosing the film stock. Let's use something very popular like the Kodak 250D. You have over 60 film stocks to choose from, so you can be sure you get the look you want. And you can already see that it looks less digital, just with this one change. Of course, the exposure is off like crazy, but we fix that in a minute. We can change exposure, temperature and tint directly in the plugin. Let's reset this and I show you a cleaner way to fix this. Some film stocks move the color a lot in a certain direction, make it very blue or magenta, but you can easily fix this in the previous node by offsetting the image a bit. I do this a lot when I like the look of the film stock, but not the color offset of it. The next big thing is that you can choose if you want to emulate the printing process of your film. Normally the film negative is printed on another film stock, like the famous Kodak 2383, which gives your footage even more filmic look. I use this section mostly when I color grade a short film or a very stylized advertisement that should really look like film. Sometimes when I shoot a video for an online commercial, this look could be a bit heavy, and the client often wants a bit of a cleaner look. Then I just use the setting linear. This gives me an interesting look that's not too contrasty and stylized. In the film developer section, you could change the contrast and color boost if you need more pop in your image. The next section is one of my favorites, film compression. Have you ever noticed that in a movie that's shot on film, the highlights are almost never blown out? Somehow the medium film manages to show everything properly that's in front of the lens. So film compresses the blacks and highlights into a viewable range, and this compression section does exactly the same. Look how it reduces the harsh highlights in the face. We have all seen color grading tutorials that tell us we should bring up the highlights to 100% and the blacks down to 0% of the waveform. Well, that's not very film-like. Look at Hollywood movies where the signal sits. Nothing is at 100%. Bright skies are often shown down there in the waveform. Now, after applying the main look with these settings, we can refine the footage if we want to and can apply grain, halation, bloom, all the typical elements of the film look. I use grain quite often, halation and bloom only in some cases, but it's good to have it and the quality of these effects is great. Now, how cool would it be if we had all this color grading power on our, let's say, iPhone or iPad and could edit our Instagram photos or TikTok videos with it? Ta-da! That's possible. Dehancer is available for iOS as well. So if you need a convincing film effect on a photo or video, it's as easy as applying an Instagram filter. Although it's technically much more than that. There are years of scientific research behind this app, and the quality and tools you get in the app are similar to the ones in the desktop plugin. So you can go from this iPhone footage to a very filmic looking clip in a few seconds on an iPhone. So if you want to buy the plugin, use the discount code FILMLOOK10 and save 10%. And if you want to save a lot of money as well, you better watch this video here.